السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Welcome sisters. Alhamdulillah. Some students, they did good achievement in the quiz number 2. Alhamdulillah. So we'll start today a very important topic because now we are entering to the real Islamic rulings, and we're gonna get a little bit today from the Islamic rulings, definitions, and what is the differences between the Farth and Wajib in the 4 Math-hab, and what are the rules types and what are the Islamic ruling types as well. So little by the coming week, inshallah, إذا Allah أحيانا, we continue, we go more deeper now in Islamic ruling. Now we're after we are going to finish the definitions. This is as a start, as always, but we have to start with the definitions. And with the definitions, we're going to use them and understand them more and more and more, deeper and deeper when we go and we explain about the rules by itself, okay? So let us start. Barakallahu fiki, Sister Maryam. And Sister Fatima, thank you for doing the quizzes on time. All right, so we've done with quiz number 3 to quiz number 2 today. We did quiz number 1 on the 7th of August and 21st, the quiz number 2. But unfortunately, last week we didn't have our lecture, but it is more than enough because lecture 3, it was very long and it was congested a little bit, so it needed a proper study. So even if we'll add 2 lectures, it could be heavy also on you. So let us progress, inshallah. Today's lecture, actually, I combined the 2 lectures in it. So it's going to be lecture number 4, yes, but I combined 2 lectures. So the last week lecture is going to be today, and today's lecture is going to be today as well. Okay, just this is for your information. So we will enter 2 types of rulings. Okay, there is type of ruling. The type of ruling, please try to differentiate between type of ruling and we will come to Islamic ruling types. So we will have 2 types today in ruling. There is the general ruling and there is the Islamic ruling, which we know there is a types that it comes under it, okay? So there is the first type, it is called the by sense or by experience type of ruling. For example, you ruled on something according to your experience. Okay, for example, we give an example. If you see a cup and there is subhanallah, like something that it comes like a heat that it comes from this cup, you will know definitely this cup it is hot, because by experience, if you put your hand there and you know that if you see that thing that it comes from the cup or from a bowl, you will know this is going to burn you, so I shall not touch the cup in that way, okay? So how did you know that is going to burn? By experience, okay? So there is a ruling by experience. And there is another type of rule by mind, where you use the mathematic, for example, when you say it's by logic, like when you say 1 is the half of 2. This is by mind ruling, okay? And then the Islamic ruling, which it is our title, which we are going to learn, and we're gonna take this branch and go and open this branch and go deeper in this branch, okay? For example, Allah Azza wa Jal, he said, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا in Surah Al-Baqarah 275. Allah said he has permitted commerce and he has forbidden assuring. Okay, so how did we know that selling it is allowed and riba it is not allowed? How did we know that? Did we know that by our common sense? Did we know that by experience? No, we know it because this is what we have been taught from Allah Azza wa Jal. He told us. So this is Islamic ruling that we have learned. It is not by experience, neither by mind. Okay. Welcome to the sisters who just joined. I'm not sure, but I will just drop the link for the sister who didn't do the quiz yet. Some of them, Sister Lean, I think so you entered before, but you exit, I believe. All right. So we have three types of rules, okay? We have three types of rules. The first one by experience. We call it in Arabic حكم عادي. حكم عادي or حكم بالعادة. بالعادة means by experience. We do it by every time بالعادة أو بالتجربة. التجربة means by experience we do it. By not only by experience, by experimental we do it, so we can judge and rule by in that way. And there is the second rule is حكم عقلي. عقلي means by mind, as you know, like we say we measure it, okay? So 1 is half of 2. Barakallah fiki, Sister Fatima. We already said, yani, thank you very much. You were the first one who did the quiz. Barakallah fiki. And also حكم شرعي. حكم شرعي, it is the Islamic ruling which we are taking it, which what Allah Azza wa Jal, He taught us in the Quran or in the Sunnah. وأحل الله البيع. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us like selling things or items, it is halal, and riba is haram. How did we know that riba it is haram? How did we know that is khamar or alcohol it is haram? It is by Islamic ruling. It's not from our invention. It is not by our mind, neither from our measure. Okay, so these are the three types of rule. Now we will take this rule, and we will do a division under it. Okay, so the Islamic ruling, we will take it now and we'll do branches under it. What are the branches that it comes under it? There are 2 branches that it comes under the Islamic ruling. Please don't mix between the ruling, the 3 ruling, the general ruling, the normal ones, and the Islamic ruling by itself. The Islamic ruling, it has 2 things. The first one is things that we had asked to do, and there is something that it has a sign on the things that we asked to do. So the first one, it is called in Arabic, حكم تكليفي. Taklifi means that we have been asked to do or to follow by Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, so for example, let us see what do we mean by that. Of course, what Allah Azza wa Jal, He asked us to do. He asked us to pray. He asked us to fast Ramadan. He asked us to do many things that as obligatory. Okay, so this is what is called in Arabic. It's called حكم تكليفي. Taklifi, you have to memorize this word, taklifi. Taklifi, that we have been assigned to do it, an action we have been asked to do it. Simple as that. The second one is حكم وضعي. حكم وضعي. حكم وضعي. It is the sign that this rule is a must. What do we mean by that? Okay, so we will give you an example from the Quran. Now you will understand more the Quran when you read it. Okay, you're gonna know, oh, this is hukum taklifi, oh, this is hukum wad'i. Allah Azza wa Jal, he put a sign on this thing that we have to do it as a must. What do we mean by that? So let me read the ayah in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 6. In that ayah it says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu idha qumtum ila salati faghsilu. Again, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا. This ayah, it talks about the wudu. That if you get up to the prayer, when you raise to pray, wash your faces, your hands, and your arms to the elbows. And wipe your heads and your feet to the ankles. If you had intercourse, then purify yourselves. If you are ill or traveling, or one of you returns from the toilet, or you had a contact with a woman and could not find water, then use some clean sand and wipe your faces and hands with it. So meaning, I cannot perform the prayer without doing wudu. So wudu, the wudu, it is not a must. Wudu, it is something normal. The wudu, it comes as a must unless if I want to do something obligatory, which Allah Azza wa Jal, He told me, He asked me to do it, is to do the prayer. So my prayer will not be valid as a condition even unless I do the wudu. So the wudu here is the hukum wad'i, is the sign. Washing is the sign of the prayer. Washing is the sign of the prayer. So pray, it is the action. It's called hukum taklifi in purple. In blue color, this is the meaning of the sign. Okay, till here it is clear. I hope I didn't confuse anyone. All right. If you understood, raise your hands. Okay, maybe some other sisters, they didn't understand. Shall I repeat again? Sister Lean, Sister Fatima Alido, Sister Maryam Sha'ban. Shall I repeat again?
Yes, for the benefits of the other who just answer, maybe there's some confusion.
All right, so let me repeat it again. So there is two Islamic ruling types. We'll go back a little bit just to focus on the slide. So we have the first one, hukum shar'i. Yani the ruling has one is the normal experience rule, and there is by mind rule, and the third one is the Islamic rule. So we said we will take this Islamic rule. This Islamic rule has two divisions or two types of Islamic ruling, which is in the coming page. The Islamic ruling, it has two things. The first one is called taklifi, okay? Hukum taklifi means this is it is an action we asked to do. What is taklifi? It is an obligatory thing or obligatory work or mandatory work or mandatory rule Allah Azza wa Jal, He asks us to do. Taklifi is an action we ask to do or to follow, such as this ayah in Surah Al-Ma'idah. It says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, idha qumtum, if you raise to pray, Ya ayyuha, yani, all my believers, if you raise up to pray, wash your faces, your hands, and so on. So this ayah, it talks about the wudu for the salah. So I can't get up for the salah unless I wash my hands. So I will ask you a question now. Is the prayer obligatory?
Yes.
Is the prayer obligatory? Yes. So
Yes.
this is called hukum taklifi. What else that Allah Azza wa Jal, He gave us as obligatory? Can you tell me?
Fasting
Doing
Ramadan.
zakat, we do to Ramadan, we need to fast. This is obligatory.
Okay, barakallahu fikum. And the other sister who answered also. Okay, so another thing, as the sister, she said zakah, there is also the Ramadan, the Sawm Ramadan, the fasting of Ramadan. So this is obligatory. So this is called hukum taklifi. This is the first one in purple. Pray is a must. Pray is a must. But pray, it is invalid unless if I do the wash. So the wash is the sign of the pray. Is the sign of the pray. So
the validity.
Yes, the condition that to make this prayer valid, as she said, by the wash. Okay, so this wash, what does that mean in Arabic? Which rule is it? It's called hukum wad'i. Hukum wad'i. يعني this all ayah, it's hukum wad'i. يعني because this one as a prayer obligatory, plus there is a sign for a prayer, it says about wudu. So the whole ayah, it became as hukum wad'i. Hukum wad'i, why? Because Allah Azza wa Jal, He put a sign for the prayer. So if you get up to pray, then do this, do this, do this, if you are in this statement. The statements which He explained in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 6. And he explained for us how do we do our wudu. He said, wash your faces, your hands till the elbow, and wipe your heads and your feet to the ankle. If you had intercourse, then purify yourself. So it's all explanation, but we are focusing on the first ayah only, that it says, when you raise to pray, this is what is called hukum taklifi. This is in purple. Wash. Yes, I wouldn't say as an evidence, but I would say as a sign. As a sign. So I don't want to confuse the word of evidence, but I would say as a sign. Okay? Because if we say evidence, then there is a lot of things also is related to evidence. Okay, so I would say a sign. This is how they identify it in fiqh. In fiqh, the terminologies in fiqh, they call this statement hukum wad'i. Hukum wad'i. Okay, we go to the coming slide, which we can emphasize it more. Okay, so again, now we have the Islamic ruling types. We continue. Taklifi, we said that's like the salah, and wad'i, like the wash for the salah. So wash, wudu, is a condition for the salah. So again, wash is hukum wad'i. Even in the exam, if I will say wash, is it hukum taklifi or hukum wad'i? You have to say this is hukum wad'i. Yes, and salah, it is an action we asked to do. This is hukum taklifi. But the combination of two, it comes hukum wad'i. The combination of two, it comes hukum wad'i. Okay, we continue. All right, hukum taklifi again. So let us know the definition now. Since we already understood the ayah, in hukum taklifi, it's like the mandatory rule, as you give me the example for the siyam, for the zakah, for the salah. This is mandatory rule. So what is the definition? This is a definition, it's a speech of Allah, because Allah, He asked us, He addressed to the people what He addressed. He addressed them to do such actions, whether these actions by order or by choosing. He ordered us, whether He ordered us to do it or to leave it. Yani, I have to do it or I have to leave it. Leave it, for example, don't drink alcohol, leave it. Do it, pray salah. So this is an order He gave it to me. Or choosing. I'm allowed to choose. It's up to me. What is we call it in Arabic mubah. Okay, mubah, like it's allowed to do. And if you leave it or you don't do it, you're not going to. Nothing will happen. Mubah. It's a choosing. Whatever you want to do it or not. So the definition of the first is a speech of Allah addressed to the people, related to people's action. Whether to do this, yes, the free will, order to do it or leave it, or choosing between doing it or leaving it. Now let us go to the other side of the definition of al-hukm al-wad'i. It's again a speech of Allah addressed to the people, related to people's action, to make that action a sign of it. That action, a sign of it. As we give an example, a sign of it, like the wudu example. Let us take further examples. Now, hukum taklifi, as we said, it is an action we asked to do. It is a mandatory rule. The sisters, they say this is salah, Ramadan, fasting Ramadan, zakah, and we can do hajj. We are asked to do hajj. Okay, now hukum wad'i is the sign of these things. The sign of these things. For example, let us take a sign of fasting Ramadan. Okay, a sign of fasting Ramadan. Who can give me a sign of fasting Ramadan as an example? To fast Ramadan, there is a sign. Anything that you can give me as an example to see if you understood.
When the month, it's the 9th month in Islamic calendar. It comes after Rajab. Rajab. No, Shaban. It comes after Shaban, and then the sign is the moon. When we sight the moon, if we don't
So
see
the
the moon,
sun is,
the sign
By
is the moon. By
sighting the
sighting the
moon.
new moon.
let the sister answer. Yes, Sister Maria, the sign of?
The sign of the moon.
Yes, so the moon is a sign to start fasting Ramadan.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, also, if we say we shall stop drinking and eating in Fajr, if the Fajr appears in Ramadan. So when the Fajr appears, we shall stop drinking and eating. Okay. So Fajr is the sign. So this is hukum wad'i. Ramadan, fasting Ramadan by itself is hukum taklifi. Okay. So our fast will not be valid if we start eating or continuing eating in Fajr time. Halas, we know, we can see now the sign raised, everything, we can see everything, and then we keep on eating and drinking, then our fasting, it will not be valid. All right. Now, since you understood what is the meaning of rule, in general, we keep saying rule, rule, rule. So what is rule in language? Rule in language is to stop or prohibition, to stop in language. Okay, al-hukm in language is to stop. But what is in istilah? Istilah, what we mean by istilah in fiqh. In fiqh, what do they mean by rule? Rule means to prove, confirming a matter or deny it. To confirm a matter or deny it. Al-hukm in istilah, to confirm or to deny it. For example, if I want to say about this person, he's a liar, I will say, Salim, he's a liar. I confirm that Salim is a liar. Or Ahmed, he's saying the truth. I confirm that Ahmed, he's saying the truth. So whether I confirm the matter by yes or by denying it. So this is what the meaning of hukum in istilah. Now, since we understood the Islamic ruling division, if you remind me, what are the Islamic ruling division? What are the Islamic ruling, two types of Islamic ruling? The first one, I will choose the name. Let me see the names. Sister Fatima Alido. If she's available. Or Sister Lean, would you like to answer? What is the first one, the first type?
It's taklifi.
Yes, taklifi, barakallahu fiki. Now we leave to some. Yes, Sister Fatima Ramos, I see the mic, it is open. What is the second one? Okay, maybe she cannot remember. Yes, Sister Fatima Alido. What is the second type? The first type, Sister Lin, she said hukum taklifi. The second one is hukum
wad'i.
Wad'i. Yes, barakallahu fiki. Naam.
Sorry, I lost my connect. I lost it because I accidentally pressed another apps.
No problem. All right. So Islamic ruling definition then, because it has a division, right? It has two types. So the two types, actually, it is the same explanation of hukum taklifi definition and the hukum wad'i definition. We put it in one. We combined it in one. So it's the speech of Allah addressed to the peoples, addressed to the people. Okay, just hold on. Addressed to the people, related to people's action, whether to do it by order, okay, or to do it by choosing it, or a sign of it, okay? So this is wad'i rule. And this is two of them, they are taklifi rule. So it is the definition of the two sides or the two types of the Islamic ruling. As simple as that. Once you understand it, you cannot get confused. All right. Now, it's a very interesting topic because now we are entering to fiqh, and now you're entering to things maybe many people, they don't know about these kind of things. All right. So taklifi, you know what is hukum taklifi, right? So now we came from different branches. We came from the branch of, first one is rule. We said rule has 3 divisions. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So here we had the Islamic ruling. Okay. And the Islamic ruling has 2 divisions. The first one is taklifi, and the other one is wad'i. So now we are taking the taklifi rule. And the taklifi rule is divided into 2. Okay, till here you're okay, sisters?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
go on, teacher.
Okay, so the taklifi rule here, it has 2 divisions. The first one is by Jumhur. Today you had exam. So I know that the students, they revise what is the meaning of Jumhur. This is Jumhur. The second one is by Hanafi. What do we mean by Jumhur? Who can answer this? Raise your hands. Who wants to answer? I want to see who wants to answer. What is Jumhur in fiqh? Just use your brain a little bit.
I think Jumhur, the 3.
Who?
3 madhabs, Shafi, Hanbali, and okay, Shafi, Hanbali, and Malik.
Where did we mention this?
I saw something like that in the exam. Is in the exam while I was revising in the last lecture.
Okay. Do you know what is the meaning of Jumhur? We explained it.
A group.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm not
Sister
sure.
Fatima Alida? Okay.
It's a group of Math-hab,
Okay.
of
All right.
imam, something like that.
All right. All right. So let us stop till here. Let us clear it out again. I will refresh your mind. Jumhur means any madhab, because in madhab we have 4, right? Okay. Right? Madhab
Yes.
we have 4, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So if anybody takes a side alone, and the 3 of them takes a side, any three of madhab takes a side, this is called Jumhur.
Yeah. Yeah, they
So
stay together.
Yes. So since we have Shafi'i here and Maliki and Hanbali here, so who remained?
Hanafi.
Okay. So as simple as that. So taklifi rule, we have 2 divisions. The Jumhur, which is the majority of 3, and the one is the sided one, who's against. I wouldn't say against, but is not similar to the 3.
He has his own opinion.
Not okay, but not every time it has to be the same weight. Okay, maybe here it could be Hanafi, the 3 of them could be Hanafi, and it could be Maliki, and it could be Hanbali, and Shafi'i could be alone. This is the meaning of Jumhur. Okay, so it is not a group of madahib. It's a group of as opinion. So people who agrees and people who disagree. So who disagree always on the side. So we say 3 or 4. So 3 means agreed.
3
out of 4. Okay.
So teachers, meaning
Yes.
of Jumhur is a group. I mean, it is an opinion, a group of opinion.
Yes, people who agreed, 3 of them agreed. One of them who didn't agree out of 4.
Okay, teacher. Yes.
Okay. So it's very important to understand this.
Teacher,
Yes, sure.
I want to ask, it mean that the 3% they are made own schools?
It's not on school 3 people. It's a group, Shafi'i people, okay, and the Maliki people, Hanbali people. They took a side in decision, in agreeing with something.
Then I made mistake to my exam.
No, this is different. Today's lecture is different than the exam.
No, there is a 3, so I thought the 3 I wrote, but I think now it's 4.
All right. So
That's the
you mean
question.
the school of the Madhab. Yes, the school of the
Yeah.
Madhab is 4. Of course, you will have
Yes.
4 schools.
Oh,
Okay.
I wrote 3. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. The three means Jumhur. Jumhur means 3. Any side of 3. And sometimes it could be 2 and 2, by the way. It could be any. Okay?
Okay.
It depends on the opinion.
Yes, it depends on the opinion. And sometimes you can find here Shafi'i, and here you can find Shafi'i. But maybe you can find here majority of Shafi'i agreeing and little of Shafi'i not agreeing. Also, you can find that.
It depends the talks, knowledge, and opinions. Yeah.
Yes. But in this rule, Taklifi rule, we have 3 out of 4. Okay? In this Taklifi rule, we have 3 out of 4. So let us see. It is a very interesting topic, to be honest. So let us see how does it work. Okay, till now you understood what is 3 out of 4, right? I can continue, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Once you understand. All right. So do you remember, do you hear anything like wajib, farth, mandub, mubah, makruh,
Yes.
muharram? Do you hear these things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the
This is, yes, Sister Fatima?
with our action, if this is permitted, or if we do this, we will be rewarded. If we don't
Yes.
do this, we will not be punished, but still the same. And then if we do this like haram, we will be punished like this.
So the explanation of taklifi, just now we did the definition. You remember when the definition of hukum taklifi, where it's an
Order or
action which
choosing.
Allah, yes. Who said order? Sister Fatima
Lin.
Alido
It's Lin.
or Lin?
Lin.
Barakallahu fiki, you get 1 point, Lin. Okay, so as she said, it is an order by Allah as wajib, or maybe it is an option like mubah. Okay, يعني as and if you want to do it, or it's a choosing, يعني you want to do it or you don't want to do it. So whether Allah Azza wa Jal, He ordered us to do it is wajib or muharram. This is to do it or to leave it. And mubah, whether it is a choosing, you want to do it or you want to leave it. It's up to you. Okay, so this is the explanation of the definition. Actually, we're not creating anything outside the scenario. So let us explain. Since you already know what is wajib, and you already know what is, yes, sister?
Wajib, we must do it, like performing the obligatory prayer.
Yes, but I need you now to focus, sisters, because now we are getting a little bit deeper in fiqh. And you need to know, and you need to focus very carefully on the differences between the 3, the Jumhur, if it comes in the exam, the Jumhur, and the Hanafi. Okay, Hanafi, that he stands as one on the side. So what is the differences? So the Jumhur, the remaining of Hanafi is Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali. All of them, 3 of them, they agree there is 5 types of rules of taklifi. Rules of taklifi are 5 for Jumhur of Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali. They're saying we have rule of taklifi, 5 rules. But Hanafi, he says, I have 7 rules. 7 rules, not 5, 7 rules. Okay, what are the rules? The rules wajib, and he also agrees there is wajib. Mandub, as a confirming sunnah mu'akkada. Okay, mandub, it is there. And then mubah, he has mubah. They have makruh, يعني to leave it much better. And also he has mubah, to leave it much better, but he calls makruh mustahab. Mustahab, preferable, to leave it. They have the same thing. Muharram, he has muharram, but unless there is two remaining for Hanafi. What are the differences in Hanafi? Why Hanafi? Why Hanafi? Or what are the other types of Hanafi that he said, no, I disagree, I have a different ones? Is Farth. Did you hear about Farth?
Obligatory prayer.
Okay, but what is the differences between Farth and Wajib? Now we will come to understand. Okay, so when I say word Farth, the meaning, I'm talking about Hanafi. I'm not talking about Shafi'i. I'm not talking about Maliki. I'm not talking about Hanbali. He identifies something called Farth. And he says that this Farth is higher than the Wajib. Farth is higher than the Wajib. For example, for us, Salah is Wajib. Right? For example, when we say Salah is Wajib or Farth?
Farth.
We'll count. Farth. Who said
Wajib.
Farth?
Wajib.
Lane.
Who said Farth? Raise your hand.
Lane.
Lean. Okay, who said Wajib?
Me?
Can you please repeat the question?
The question is, Salah, is it Farth or Wajib?
Wajib.
Wajib.
Who said Wajib?
Farth.
Who says Wajib? Can you raise your hand, please? I can see at least, okay, Sister Maryam, she says Wajib. Sister Fatima Ramu, she says Wajib. Sister Fatima Arido, she says Wajib. Salah is Wajib. All right. Who says Farth? Salah is Farth.
Me too.
Okay, Sister Lean. Me too is Sister Ramzani?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Now let us see the differences. Why some sisters, they say Wajib, and why sisters, they say Farth. Let us understand this matter, okay? Now Hanafi, he said, I have an extra division. It's called Farth. But here, Shafi'i, he doesn't have Farth. All right. He had something an extra here, Hanafi. He said, makruh muharram. He said, makruh muharram. Here, they don't have makruh muharram. They have makruh mustahab, same as here, number 4, makruh mustahab. So number 4 here, makruh mustahab, is same as makruh here, number 4, as mustahab. This is the meaning of it. So he divided the makruh into 2. He said one is mustahab, the other one is muharram. Muharram, it doesn't exceed the level of the real muharram as forbidden. It is less than that, little bit. يعني like better to leave it, not to do it. It is not haram, but better to leave it. This is makruh muharram. Makruh mustahab, this is different. Better to leave it as good, يعني leave it. Okay, so he divided into 2. The makruh divided into 2, and he has wajib, but he considered wajib less than farth. So let us see what does he mean by that. And by the way, all of them, they are right. None of them, they are wrong. Okay, so let us understand this today. It's a very interesting topic, but try to focus. If you lose the concentration, try to tell me that, repeat it again. Now, the differences between farth and wajib. This slide is very important. Farth, as again we said, is higher than wajib for Hanafi. We are talking about Hanafi now. Focus, we are talking about Hanafi. Hanafi, he says, wajib, يعني farth comes first, then wajib. And what does he mean by farth? He means farth as things that from the Quran, from the Sunnah, and from the Ijma' confirming. Okay? And what does he mean by confirming? For example, like about the Salah. It's written in the Quran. Siyam Ramadan, he considered it as Farth. Okay? We'll come to Wajib. Just hold on a little bit. So in language, what Farth means, what he means, it's an effect. You know, when you do a hole on the wall, there's an effect. So this is Farth in language, effect. But Farth in istilah of Hanafi, huh? Focus please. Istilah of Hanafi, he says, what it has been asked to do by a certain with definitive evidence. Do you know what is the meaning of definitive evidence? As a meaning only. Do you understand the word of definitive evidence?
Like strong evidence.
Yes, surely evident. Okay, surely evidence from the Quran, from the Sunnah, from Ijma'. Surely, 100%. No doubt. There is no doubt about this evidence. This is how he call it Farth. So now you will ask me, there is an evidence which it is, we are not sure about it? No. The second degree, this is the first degree of Farth. The second degree is Wajib. What does he mean by Wajib? The Wajib, which it has been asked to do by a certain with another evidence. Decided evidence, like Tawatur. Like Tawatur means generation after generation after generation, they confirmed that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did it, confirming. But it is not written in the Quran, for example, yani. But we have an evidence, surely, it is there, but by generation after generation or by qiyas. Qiyas, if you remember, we explained the meaning of qiyas at the beginning of the lecture. Qiyas, when I have Quran, it says that the alcohol is haram. Okay, now if we have something, new things happen in this era about the drugs, the bad drugs, which it harms the body. So the scholars, they took this evidence of the alcohol and they measured it and equal it to alcohol because it harms the body. So they said the drugs are haram, not allowed. This is meaning of qiyas. So Hanafi, he has two types of ruling in taklif. يعني differences. He differentiates. يعني sorry, يعني as Hanafi, he has 7 rules, but he differentiates between wajib and farth. This is what I wanted to say as 2. Okay, so he has 7 rules in taklifi, and he says that farth is surely 100%, no doubt. And other than that, he considered it as wajib. We will take examples and see what does he mean. Okay, till here you understand about Hanafi?
Yeah.
All right. Now, what Jumhur, the Jumhur, Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali, what does he mean? The 3 of them, the remaining 3. And they have, as we said, 5 rules which they approve. They don't have farth. Actually, wajib for them is the same definition here. If you notice, what has been asked to do by certain. Yani wajib for them, it's what it has been to do for them as certain. Here, it's the same. What it has been asked to do by certain. Farth is the same meaning. What it has been asked to do by certain. So wajib and farth, wajib and farth for Jumhur is the same thing. No differences. If you say farth, you mean wajib. If you say wajib, you mean farth. So here,
it's like simplified, yeah?
Yeah, so wajib for them, they don't differentiate. Wajib is farth. Wajib equal to farth. Okay? Farth definition. It's the same thing. But here, no, he said farth comes first. And second is wajib, as for Hanafi. Nobody's wrong, by the way. Now we'll come to see more details. What are the examples of Hanafi for Farth? For example, as we say, Salah is Farth for him. Fasting Ramadan is Farth for them. Birr al-walidain, caring for mother and father is Farth for them. But for Jumhur, they call it Wajib. Wajib Farth is the same. Now let us see what is Wajib for Hanafi, if that is the case. What Wajib means, or Wajib here, what he means by Wajib. Wajib is like witr prayer. You know the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he prays the Salat al-Isha, after he finished Salat al-Isha, he prays the 2 rak'ah, then he prays a shaf' al-watr, for example. Yeah, al-watr. Al-watr, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether by being there in Mecca or Medina, or being when he was traveling, he never left the Salat al-Witr. So Witr was confirmed that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he never left it. This is by tawatur. This is the meaning of tawatur. All the people saw the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam what he did. For them is wajib. But for the people who follows, for example, Jumhur, Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanafi, they say it is sunnah. Okay? They say sunnah, confirmed sunnah, which it is mandub. It is confirmed sunnah as mandub. This is the differences between Hanafi and Jumhur. So Hanafi, he is more, I would say,
expanded. He expanded
and
everything.
very detailed. He's very detailed.
Yeah.
Okay. But in Jumhur, they considered it as sunnah. You do it, okay. If you don't want to do it, it's up to you. But it is sunnah mu'akkada. Sunnah mu'akkada is anything that that's why we follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his sunnah. We don't leave his sunnah. If you remember the first thing when I ask, is it sunnah to follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If somebody comes and tell you, I will leave the sunnah, it is not important. That was, there is a time I asked this question. So by this slide, you can answer. So you think that sunnah, is it important to follow?
Important to follow.
Yeah.
But
It's important
Hanafi,
because they're following.
yes, according to Hanafi is wajib, is very important. Okay, and here mandub, sunnah mu'akkada, it's confirmed sunnah that he did it, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So why shall we leave it? Anything that he did it for sure, yes, we'll do it. For example, the sunnah, the 2 rak'ah before Salat al-Fajr. This is sunnah also mu'akkada. He did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he never left it. Okay. So what do we get? What do we get by doing or leaving the farth and wajib? What is the effect of it? Only effect. We're not talking about definition now. We're talking about the effect of it. So who does the farth or wajib, he gets rewarded.
More reward.
If I do salah, I do zakah, I do fasting Ramadan, I get rewarded for it because I did for the sake of Allah to accept me. I didn't do it for the sake of my father. I didn't do it for the sake of people because they're watching me. I do it because I fear Allah Azza wa Jal and I ask reward from Allah Azza wa Jal. This is the reason and this is the effect of it. What the other effect which I will be harmed, I will be harmed if I leave it. I will get punishment because Allah Azza wa Jal, he said many areas, if you leave the salah, if you leave the siyam for no reason, then you get punishment. So the punishment will be applied for the people who knows about it. And they know that Allah Azza wa Jal, he asked us to do it. So why do you leave it? So if you remember the definition, again, I will go back. The definition of whether Islamic ruling or the definition of hukum taklifi, it is a mandatory rule which Allah Azza wa Jal, He asked us, it is a speech of Allah addressed to the people related to people's action, whether He ordered us to do it or to leave it, or it is a choice between doing it or leaving it. So this is the definition of whatever we took today. And this is for today. Thank you for attending. And also I would like to
Khairan.
Mashallah.
yeah. So
Shukran
next,
kathiran,
inshallah, we will
teacher.
expand little by little to see the differences between the Hanafi and the other, the Jumhur on the side. Bismillah ta'ala. Barakallahu
Inshallah.
feekum.